So, this is going to be the first video on a brand new YouTube channel, Blades Reach Ministry. And now I'm going to open up with doing a quick primer on what is moral theology. Beginning with, in this primer, we have three components to a moral action. This comes from Aquinas' Summa Theologia, where he talks about the principles of human action, but we're not going to get into that today. That can be a topic for later on. The short of it is each and every moral action has three components to it: the intent, the object, and the consequence. The intent is the reason why you're doing this action. This is anything from, personal gain, but we'll get into some examples later. The object of any action is what the action itself is. Ethical philosophers for years have debated which actions are good in of themselves and which actions are bad. This is pretty different from philosopher to philosopher, and we'll have an opportunity to get more into that in a later video. Finally, we have the consequences of the action, and this is, exactly as it sounds. What are the results of the moral action? The difference in Catholic in the Catholic tradition for moral philosophy and the greater ethical tradition is in modern times especially, there's much more of a focus on the consequences themselves, the results of an action. But in the Catholic moral and ethical tradition, while the consequence is still important, there's in my opinion at least, a very profound focus on the why, the intention, focus on the actor and why they're doing it. A quick application of this is to run through an example is, say, you're walking down the hallway. Some random girl you don't know trips, spills all the books in her hands, all over the floor. And you decide to go pick them up. Starting with the intent behind this, you could be doing this action for any number of reasons. You could be intending just to do it for the sake of doing good. You're picking up these books because, it's the right thing to do, and, you've studied ethical philosophy, and you know this. You can be doing it for other reasons. You can be doing it to, establish a good reputation, either around the school or with this person in general. Maybe you're planning on asking her out at some point. You want to build up your credibility as being a good person. These are all different intentions you can have. Moving on from that, some of them are better than others. Intending it to do it because it's good is the highest intent we can have. That's how we know we're acting in a way that is truly ethical, truly moral. In the kind of Catholic tradition, is you're doing it for the sake of the good. You're doing it because it is the right thing to do. Moving on to the object, helping someone pick up their books is good. That is a positive action, as opposed to an amoral or negative action. You are choosing to help when you could have chosen to not. Excuse me. This would be different if you were helping her pick up her books to steal them, but that's a different action altogether. And then in terms of the consequences of this, in this specific scenario, they don't matter quite as much. But you can be doing it because you want to start to build a friendship with this person, and that kind of circles back to the intent. And friendship could result from you stopping to pick them up. I don't know, maybe they go and invite you to where they're going in such a rush, or they ask you meet up after class. Sometimes the consequence of this is that you did the right thing. No benefits past the action itself. You help this girl pick up her books, and that's that. Or maybe the action has a negative consequence. Maybe as you were like scrambling to help her pick her books up, you like bumped into someone on the way. Maybe you forgot something in your locker before you could go to class. Or maybe as you were helping her pick something up, something was misplaced, or you accidentally like fumbled with something and dropped it. Those are all like negative consequences. And in general, this part is much harder to make kind of general statements about kind of how this action fits into ethics, how it fits into morality. Because to really determine if something is moral or ethical, you have to look at the whole action. So taking all of the different parts in with each other, let's say you help someone drops their books in the hall. You go up this because, it's the right thing to do. They drop their books. You've got a well-formed conscience. You go help them pick them up. You're helping them pick up their books, and that's good. And then afterwards, she thanks you and invites you, like, hey, after I go to class, we should meet up. And, I'll buy you a coffee or something as thanks. You've gone through, you did the right thing for the right reasons. And, you even possibly made a friend and got a coffee out of it. So, in all, I would say, at least, in my not super credible, but informed opinion, that congrats, you did the ethical thing. You acted in a way that is morally good and is going to bring you closer to virtue.